Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I'm going to be starting on a new plastic model kit today. This is a Ford Bronco. The kit does not have a specific year, but this is the first generation Broncos from 1966 to 1977. Tires, there's the body, our window glass and windshield, all of these parts in one big bag. We got a little bit of chrome, not a lot, and here's the instructions. And inside the instruction manual was decal sheet. So these white stripes that go down the fender wells is what we're seeing on the box there. Printed out the paint guide, so it makes it easier. You don't have to thumb through the book every time with the instruction manual to find a particular part, what color it needs to be. Well, after a bit of sorting out, going through the instruction manual, here's all the blue parts. There's the body and the interior of the hood. Those will all be painted light blue. So we can go ahead and get started painting with a brush on those parts right there. Well, not a lot of blue, but those are engine parts. There's a block, the fan, the heads, the valve covers, the front cover, the intake, and the breather. Here's my method for painting the parts with a brush. I just go through each instruction sheet, and right now I'm painting black. So I'm looking for any part that's either C or F. That hose is C, so that's painted black. The starter, the belts. So just go a page at a time, and anything that's C or F, I'll make sure that I put some black paint on them. Moving right along with the brush. And these shocks are supposed to be yellow. So I didn't have any yellow in my paint kit over there. I don't have very good selection in that. Just basic colors, but I don't have a yellow. But I did have a spray paint. Just sprayed a little bit of that in a cup and took the brush. And I think it'll work. It'll show up. That's really all we're going for, is to where it'll stand out in the suspension. And I painted the tail lights. One broke off. It's right there. But I painted the lenses of the tail lights and the lenses in the front grille, the amber lens, the turn signals. Alright, let's get started. We're painting some of the white, and specifically these seats. I want to brush them, and gives them a little more texture, makes them look like real seats and real material. And speaking of paint, here's a color I'm going to be painting the body. A little bit lighter than what they're showing on the box, but I think that's a nice color. It's called Spa Blue. I like the Rust-Oleum 2X. And before we paint, I'm going to cut away this side plastic tab. Cut it back here. That's what I've done on this side. That way we've only have one tab holding them at the bottom, and we can get the majority of the seat painted. Do need a little touching up there on the edges. You can see it's kind of jagged. We'll smooth that up before we paint them. The center of the seats get these decals. That's a back seat. So the bottoms, the backs of both the front and rear seats do get decals. Those gray ones there. So we just want to make sure that we have the edges painted with a couple of coats of white. And we'll put the decals in the middle. We're going to go ahead and start doing some assembly. And motor is usually first. We'll get started on it and do all the assembly that we can till we get to where we need the body. Alright, we made it to step 12. Quite a few parts to put on this suspension. We got 2, 4, 8 shocks. A couple of more steps to do before we get to the interior. We have a tie rod to put on, a couple of tie rods to put on the front, and the tires and wheels. Then we'll start on the interior, and we need to put some decals on the seats and on the interior panels. So I'll show you how we do that. Tires and wheels. These are the rear. These are the front with the lockout hubs. You can see the little red center. The wheel itself was painted with the red center. The backs just have a metal post. Moving on to the interior. This is the back of the rear seat. And these seats get a decal. You see that one goes there. This is the bottom of the seat. It gets the same decal. So I'm going to put these on. We'll have them ready to put in the interior. Front seats the same way. We have a bottom and a back, and they get decals also. I have noticed that the one decal that I put on the engine oil filter, it took a while for the decal to release. I don't know if it's the way the decals were made or what the deal is, but this one's the same way. It's still stuck pretty good. Different type paper, thicker paper. It does feel a lot thicker. Still need to put the armrest. They go from here to here. But we'll let this dry with the decal and the gluing the seats together before we put the armrest on. The next step are the interior panels that go around both sides and the back. And they are blue, and we'll have to put some decals on them. Alright, while the body and the other parts we spray painted are drying, there's the 3 interior panels that have them over here. They're ready to put decals on and do some additional painting. We painted the door panels white, as the instructions suggested. It's not real white here because the decal goes at the bottom. So we'll put them on next. Alright, decals are on those. We will go back and paint the window crank and the door latch with silver. To do the silver, I'm just using this pick. That suits me. Good fit. The dash doesn't go in right now. Our next step is to detail this under the hood area of the body, and then the dash goes in when you mate the interior up to the body. But we have the dash complete, have the pedals mounted, ready to go in. Been doing a bit of wet sanding here on the hood and the body. Had a couple of little dimples in the paint that didn't satisfy me, so I just wet sanded both of them. I used 600 grit and put it in water. And it'll get a smoother surface, and then we can go back and put a final coat. Put another coat of the blue paint on the body after wet sanding. So we're not going to be doing anything with it for a couple of days. Make sure that paint's dry. The only thing I can do in the meantime, I can put the glass in this top. There's a bevel around the edge of the glass, and I just took a small brush, painted around that bevel. Okay, we got the windows put in the top. Not perfect, but it'll suit me. Also put the chrome handle on the back. And while I had the black out, I went ahead and blacked around the edge of the windshield and the side glass. And also used some chrome, the vent window. Got a little bit on the plastic there, but we can get that off once everything dries. Okay, body's dry. After the wet sanding, I put one more coat of blue. Then I put a coat of clear on top of the blue. Here's a clear that I used. Same brand, Rust-Oleum Gloss Clear. So that's been 3 days ago, and it's secured and we're ready to proceed on. Next step is the detailing. This whole area is black. And as soon as that dries, then we've got a couple of little details. That battery strap, that's supposed to be a silver color, along with the jack hold down. Here's the engine compartment. The jack's red with a silver strap, and then there's a battery hold down strap. Got the marker lights painted. Got amber in the front, red in the back. Got the door handles put on. The door lock decals are on. Ford letters on the tailgate. I'm not an expert on putting decals on. These on the side were really hard to manipulate. So they're not perfect, but they're just going to have to, they'll have to do. We're ready to go back to step 19, which is to put the dash in the body and then make the interior up to the body. Alright, paint the latch on the tailgate, and I have the dash mounted in. closing in. The only thing I like on the engine compartment is radiator hose. Right here. Spare tire carrier. And then we've got the front grille bumper and some tail lights in the rear bumper. Not a lot left. Alright, I've skipped ahead quite a bit. Went ahead and have everything finished except for a few decals. I was pretty impressed at the way the top fit. Slides right against the back of the windows. Right there. Really a good fit. And the spare tire carrier still hinges out. I suppose you could glue it, but you can't see the Ford letters unless you hinge it, so we'll leave it like that. Need a Bronco put right here on the fender on both sides. And then there's some 302 emblems. They go right above the marker lights here on the front. These decals were the hardest part of the build, especially this long one on each side. Runs the entire length of the Bronco. The engine compartment. And we'll take the top off. There's the interior. There's comparing the model we built to the model on the box. And here's a look underneath the completed model. Now we're going to put the Bronco in this display case. These are really nice. They have a backdrop that's included, 4 different backdrops you can pick from. And of course, plastic cover, keep the dust out. So let's open it up and we'll get the Bronco stored away in it. Here's our backdrops. Drive-in, drag strip, garage, and outdoor racing track, looks like, with the checkered flags. These come with tie downs. They're just flexible vinyl coated wire that you can tie around the axle, front and back. You get 4, but I usually just use 2. And there are perforated holes here in the bottom. Just punch them out depending on the size of the vehicle you want to run the wires through. Bronco's pretty short, so line the axles up. And just a small twist in the bottom. That'll hold it where it won't be moving around. between it and the base, that lid holds that backdrop. What about our next build? We're going to build the 67 GTO. Most of the model builders say this kit is very poorly made. Parts don't fit well, etc. We're going to give it a try and see how it turns out. So be looking for that one. So thanks for watching. See you next time. Well, we hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, how about giving us a like and subscribing to our channel? Thanks.